The Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise, sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process. Welcome to the television show devoted to local business, Buffalo on the Rise, with your host, Joe Chili. There's an entrepreneurial spirit in Western New York that's putting our area on the cusp of greatness. Each week, Buffalo on the Rise features local business leaders and decision makers who are shaping our future. If it's about local business, we'll talk about it right here, right now, during Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili. On this edition of the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise, I'll introduce you to some interesting people from hometown businesses with interesting stories to tell. Like Jeff Hahn from SC Parker with important information on how your money can make money with safeguards in this volatile economy. Then Doctor Christian Miliotto is back with alternative therapies to help relieve your pain without surgery. And you want a new look for the upcoming year? Dr. Kaplansky can brighten your smile with his Teeth Now process. All on this edition of the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise. Stay with us. Hi, I'm Joe Chili, mornings from 7 to 9 with Buffalo's classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. Joining us today on the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise is Jeff Hahn from SC Parker. Jeff, how are you?
Always a pleasure, Joe.
Always great to see you because, you know, when it comes to investments, I just don't feel very educated. I'm sorry to say. It's the fact that we may have talked about this before. You try to be prepared for everything, you know, as you get older, as you get out of school or college or whatever. And it just doesn't seem like they really focus on getting you financially prepared. I don't even think anybody told me when I was in high school how to write a check.
Well, yeah, it seems that way because it is that way. Yeah, unfortunately. And it's something that we have to deal with regularly because we're working with people on their finance, on their personal economy. And we spend a lot of time, gladly spend a lot of time educating them on what the markets are, how they function, how that affects them, how they participate in them. These are activities that that's what we do, right? And it's how we help people improve their lives and change their lives through investing. And it's an issue. It's a huge issue, to be honest with you.
The other thing is, nobody wants to feel dumb. You know, and you know, when I go in and I meet with you, I'd like to, you know, at least have some background so I can sound like I'm educated, but it always breaks down to, look, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I've got to rely on you guys. You know, like we've talked before about the stock market and the bond market. I still don't get the difference.
Okay. So with the stock market, you are buying ownership of companies. And you do that hoping that they'll become more valuable and your investment will increase in value as a result. With the bond market, in the money market, what you're doing is lending money. And when we lend money, we just want to get paid back and get some interest to make it worth our while. So they are entirely different economic activities, right? The only similarity is they both involve money, but the activity, and those are the two basic activities of the entire economy: buying and selling things, lending and borrowing.
So when someone sits down with you, you know, correct me on this, you know, you can explain to them what this is. Do you stop short of making a recommendation?
No, with our clients, that's one of our primary duties to them, is to advise them and recommend what we think and hope will be good quality investments, and preferably things that they will want to invest in for a long, long time. It'll be worth their while to do so.
So if I were to come in, say to come in and sit down and talk to you, would you set up a system, like a system of investing for me?
Yes, we're big believers in that. Investment on a regular basis, like you do with a 401k or a monthly deposit into your investment account. Those systems have been proven to be the most effective way for the normal individual to build a substantial investment portfolio. The research on that goes back decades, and it's conclusive, and we're huge believers in it. There's 3 things we always stress, Joe. 1, we want to help you develop a plan that defines success for you. We want to invest your money in good quality assets. We want to simplify things, and we want to develop systems for building your assets up.
It's so difficult for me. So many questions, that I have, and I hear people all the time, and I see these commercials all the time. Invest in gold, and I'm like, really? And where do I keep it? Where do I put it? How fluid is it? If something ever happens, who's going to take gold if I need bread or if I need, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's an investment. It's a precious metal. It's not a stock or a bond, but it fluctuates in price all the time. It's a very liquid market. That's why the price fluctuates. But it's a commodity, and it's one that it doesn't deteriorate or go away or anything. You just have it. The only thing that changes with gold is its price.
What do you think is the most common question you're asked by somebody when they sit down and meet with you, especially someone new? I'm not talking about, an investor that is well educated and, works at this all the time. Somebody that comes in and says, this is my money, this is my nest egg. I'm really concerned about losing it. I want it to grow, and grow as much as I can, but it seems like the more chance you get, the better chance you get of making some money, but you can also lose some money, right?
Yeah, and we go through that conversations with folks all the time. We have new folks coming into our office on a regular basis, and we also have what we call the generational planning factor, where the kids are coming in. As they get into their adulthood or start having kids themselves, they start focusing more on their finances and building assets, and we love working with the younger people. And we do a lot of that, Joe. The most common thing that we have to do with a person newly to our office, the most important thing is really get to know them and what are they trying to accomplish and what is success for them. And sometimes they don't even know, right? And then we try to fit the investment plans and the financial planning on that.
Well, I can certainly understand that. Can you give us a phone number or website for people to go to?
We're right at 5892 Main Street, right in the village of Williamsville. Our phone number is 716-632-6800, or you can look us up at scparker.com or scparker on Facebook.
Jeff Hahn, thank you very much. More information and answers to your questions, contact SC Parker by calling 716-632-6800 or go to scparker.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by SC Parker. SC Parker LLC at 5892 Main Street, Williamsville, New York. Securities and advisory services are offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. 716-632-6800. The views expressed on this program are general in nature and not intended to be investment advice. Any discussion of any individual security should not be construed as a recommendation or solicitation by the presenters. And don't forget to join me weekday mornings, 7 to 9 a.m. with classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. Hi, I'm Joe Chile, morning 7 to 9 with Buffalo's classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. Joining us on the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise today is Doctor Christian Miliotto from WNY Pain Relief, a regular contributor. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good. I want to know now that the weather is starting to change. I hear people saying before the weather changes, the weather's going to change because, I can feel it in my back or my shoulder or my hips. Is there any truth to that? Can you predict the weather by,
Yes.
Can you? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. Okay, we're done.
No, 100%. It's barometric pressure. It's barometric pressure. Changes in weather, changes in precipitation and humidity will increase pressure in the joints. If your joints are arthritic or degenerative, you will be more susceptible to literally feeling the change in the weather.
It's just so strange. I mean, I get it, and as I get older, I think that, but I don't know if it's mind over matter. I think, well, maybe it is, maybe I do feel it, maybe I don't feel it, whatever. But, I think that's the case. What can people do as far as general wellness? I mean, we talk about us getting older, and a lot of times people will just push it off. Oh, I have to deal with it because I'm getting older. Yeah. That's really a myth to some degree, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I just did a seminar, and I meet a lot of people, and I love doing the educational seminars. And on one of my slides that I'm going through, I'm explaining how back pain develops and nerve conditions develop, and why well-being and changes for the worse as we get older. And I always explain to people on the slide, I have one bullet point, and it says reasons for structural back pain, and it says old age, and there's a little smiley emoji next to it, and then in quotations it says that's not true. Age has nothing to do with pain, okay? Inflammation is what causes pain. Is there a correlation where you have more degeneration or more inflammation if unmanaged as you get older? Of course, okay? But the truth of the matter is, I've had people who have come into my clinic who have had severe spinal stenosis or degeneration and back surgery in the past and disc herniations for 20, 25 years. And we've given them their lives back in a very short period of time. The problem is we almost get, I don't want to say brainwashed, but if you go see a whole bunch of doctors and you're asking for help, and the answer is generally medication, injections, and alternative therapies like physical therapy or chiropractic or acupuncture, and you're not getting results, eventually you're going to start to believe that you just have to live with it too, Mm-hmm. And when people advocate for themselves and they come into our clinic and they actually start seeing how we change well-being and we change quality of life and help people not only with their pain, but to help them function and get stronger, it changes their whole mindset. And that's really what I love about our clinic. We don't have any therapies with negative side effects. Everything we do is beneficial and effective. People get relief in the first couple visits, and we're changing lives.
What is the attitude? I mean, when someone comes in and you meet with them, mm-hmm. I can understand someone having a fear that they're going to do 5, 6, 8 visits, mm-hmm. pay for these visits, and it's not going to help them. And I know you don't have a crystal ball, but can you tell them the likelihood when they come in and meet with you that it will better them, or maybe it's something that you won't be able to help with?
Yeah. I mean, when you're going through somebody's history, just being a moral person, I will not write or recommend care to somebody unless I see the clinical benefits and that we're going to be able to help that person achieve the goals that they want. But here's the thing, for anybody listening, don't question that. Okay, when I do an evaluation, first off, you're coming in for a free evaluation. I'm spending an hour to an hour and a half with you going over your individual history. Number 2, think about how long you've been in pain. If you're going to get frustrated in a few visits, maybe if you're not seeing drastic changes, but you've been in pain for 25 years, does that make any sense? Okay, I'm a very straightforward person. I'm fun-loving, but I'm very straightforward. You've had pain for so long and you've lived with it for so long. If you give yourself the opportunity to come and see these research therapies and what we can do and how we can change your lives, and we build that mutual trust and respect, okay, which you will learn very quickly when you meet me, that's how I base my life and my career, and how I treat my patients is how I would treat my grandmother. You will see, and you will meet people in the clinic. The one thing I love, I did a consultation last week. I was walking a patient through, husband and wife, very nice couple. And I walked by this gentleman, Ken, if you're watching, hey, you know I'm talking about you. And as I'm walking by him, he grabs the patient very gently and he says, I'm going to tell you right now, I can see that you need the help. I can't tell you how much these people helped me. They've changed my lives. They changed my life. And when I first came in, I had doubt. And I know you need it like I needed it. And then he furthermore went in to talk to them afterwards. And I don't do this. These are my patients. That's how they are. Everybody's in the same boat. They're all doing very, very well, and they support each other.
It's funny that you say that because we just have a minute left. But when I went into your, because you worked with me after my bike accident, when I went in there, people were talking about their treatments back and forth in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Somebody what are you here for? I guess did you get the same results as I did? So it's it's a great thing. So your website and phone number.
716-650-7246. Go to buffalopainrelief.com or wnypainrelief.com. Call and schedule a consultation. Come in for the seminar, and let's get to work.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Christian Miliotto. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Western New York Pain Relief by calling, once again, 716-650-PAIN, or go to buffalopainrelief.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Western New York Pain Relief. And join me 7 to 9 a.m. weekday mornings with classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. I'm Joe Chili. You can listen to me mornings on the Big WECK. Joining us today on the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise is Dr. Kaplansky. And I want to welcome you to the show today. I'm impressed by some of the things I see about you. We do background, obviously, before we do a program like this. So I wanted to look up some things about you. First off, you started in business with a friend of mine in Niagara Falls, which was a while ago. But all of your certifications and things like this, you'll have to explain some of these things to me. Because if I look up dentists in general, I see a couple of things. Graduated from here, did work here, whatever. But you're board certified in implant dentistry, diplomat of the American Board of Oral Implantology, fellow at the American Academy of Implant Dentistry, fellow International Congress of Oral Implantologists, fellow Academy of Dentistry, certified Zaga Center, which is kind of like a mystery to me. We'll have to ask you about that. But what do all these things mean? To me, this means that all dentists are not the same, right? But when you start looking at all these things, how long did it take to get these? And was it something that you planned originally, or did you say, these are the things I'm going to go for as far as certifications?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me
Sure.
to the program. It's my pleasure to be here with you. It's a lifelong journey, really. This obviously took years to accomplish. And unfortunately, that's what we see often now in practice, is many younger dentists just fresh out of residency are doing these procedures, and they probably don't have enough experience yet to perform them.
When you start talking about things, and you start talking about implants, because it's something specifically that you do, is there something that they teach you in dental school with regard to implants? Something that all dentists do. And how did you move past that to come up with your own teeth now method?
Absolutely. So in dental school, you get some really basic rudimentary kind of education on all aspects of dentistry, on all the different procedures. So they can't really focus on anything too in-depth. And then after you graduate, that's when you expand your knowledge, then you kind of go more into the areas of your interest. So my area of interest was dental implants, and I really wanted to get much deeper knowledge in that area. And that's how it all happened.
Dental implants, and I have a very basic knowledge of these things, so I'm going to ask you, but you start thinking about things like bone grafts and the prep work that goes into this. Yeah. And it sounds very invasive to me. And as just a normal individual, I like to avoid pain.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we all do.
So you probably look the same way. You probably looked at this and said, there's got to be a better way to do this procedure.
True. So traditionally, dental implants aren't new. So they've been placed routinely for probably about 30 years now, with a lot of data, a lot of research, and it's backed up by science. Now, traditionally, the thinking in dentistry was that you have to prep the site first. So if the site or the bone in the area is deficient, you have to build it up. And how do you build it? By grafting bone, either from a donor or from animals. You would take the bone, graft it in the area, and then grow the bone, then place the implant. So that basically means multiple procedures, multiple surgeries, a lot of time and healing, discomfort, obviously, and patients, had a very, very long journey for absolutely no reason. So what we did, again, based on the current research and the modern science, is we changed the tactic a little bit. So we looked for solid native bone instead of using grafted bone that unfortunately a lot of times later turns into mush and it's not even usable. We use patient's native bone, which is stronger usually, doesn't require additional surgeries, and gives us better and faster results.
Is it a long, involved process?
The Teeth Now procedure that we kind of created is very streamlined. You literally, in 24 hours, you take patients from either no teeth or decayed, non-restorable teeth to permanent teeth, 24 hours.
Is it something that lasts the entire life, your entire life?
It can. It depends on a lot of factors. Most, again, scientific research shows us longevity of dental implants anywhere from 15 to 25 and more years. But a lot of it depends on patients' general health, which can change throughout their lifetime, and also on the maintenance, on care and maintenance. So we do insist that patients come back for routine hygiene so we can check things and clean things.
Are you trying to tell me that people don't generally take care of their teeth?
Sometimes they do.
Flossing is a big thing. You're trying to keep your teeth. Right. I think that this is fascinating in itself. I think the fact that it's less invasive, your procedure, is a big thing. Not just, for myself. I mean, I hate to sound like, oh my, I don't want to have to go through this, but, I had parents and grandparents that went through dentures, and many, many different kinds of dentures, and dentures that didn't seat right, and dentures that were constantly slipping, or whatever the case may be. So
we see it very common. It's a very common experience. Patients really hate their removable appliances. So I'm yet to see a patient who is happy with their denture. So that was another push in creating a process that would give people permanent teeth. So the teeth that they wouldn't have to remove every day to clean. Teeth that wouldn't hurt them when they chew, teeth that wouldn't fall out when they laugh. That's what we did.
So if you hate your removable, appliance, you'd want to give Dr. Kaplansky a call. Dentistry by Dr. Kaplansky, 8038 Rochester Road in Gasport. Phone number 716-772-7500. drkaplansky.com is the website, drkaplansky.com.
Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by the following. Thanks for watching this edition of the Big WECK Presents Buffalo on the Rise. For information on this and other shows, go to our website, bigweck.com, and find out how you can participate on the program if you're a hometown business. I'm Joe Chili. Thanks for watching and listening to the Big WECK, Buffalo's oldie station.
The Big WECK Presents Buffalo on the Rise was sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process.